Hey, how is it going, everyone? So today we have another look at the HG Build Divers Core Gundam and Veetwo Unit. So I guess another look at the Core Gundam anyway, but we have some different armor for it this time after the Earth 3. This is the V2, not to be confused with the Victory 2. This is the V2 Unit. I think they're putting the name like this so it's specifically not too confusing with the actual V2 Gundam, but just kind of interesting how they changed up the name from the original kit, which is the Earth 3 Gundam. This one they just titled it as Core Gundam in G3 colors, plus the V2 unit. So a little bit different way to name this, but ultimately it's going to be just like with the Earth 3 Gundam. We have the Core Gundam and then the armor set that will go around that to make it. In this case, it looks to be more like a ranged based weapons, as he's got like the sensor unit on the head and then these weapons here, these cannon sort of weapons, they're attached onto the arm. So I like this version. Don't really care too much for the Mars 4 version personally, so I'm not going to be reviewing the Mars 4. I did already do a review on the Mars 4 weapons unit, that just the sword weapons that was for that already released. But in this case, I do like this version. I think it looks pretty cool. I like the new head design. I like these weapons there on the arms. I think it looks pretty cool. And the Core Gundam is now in G3 colors. You gotta love the G3 color scheme as well, so I like that. Obviously, eventually, ultimately, this will be painted at some point in time, but just as it is for the time being, I like the colors there for the core unit, for the Core Gundam. Anyway, over here on the side, this is 006 in the line now. We're up to that, and then over here on the bottom of the box, it's highlighting, of course, just the transformation between the Core Gundam and the V2 unit into the V2 Gundam there. So we've already seen how all of that works in the review of the Earth 3 Gundam. It works pretty well, it looks pretty cool, so I think that'll be nice. I like the colors for this as well. The colors do also sort of remind me of the Leopard Destroy, right? Just because it's like a ranged based weapons mobile suit, and the being green just kind of reminds me of the Leopard. Anyway, so over here just the planet system, just talking about that, some of the gimmicks of the kit, but basically it's going to be relatively simple. You can also get the Venus armor set for that, which honestly does give you some pretty cool weapons for this, so I might have to look into that. I just kind of overlooked that, didn't really think too much about it, but honestly in use in these photos here, it doesn't look too bad. The cool cannon, and it looks like to be like a kind of missile launcher there over the top of the shoulder, and this big chunky beam rifle. It actually does look pretty cool, so I might have to check that out. And then over here, of course, it's just talking about how you can customize this with parts, with some of the Mars 4 armor parts and some of the Mars 4 weapons parts as well. You can kind of mix and match everything, of course. Sorry about the autofocus there. Over here on the other side is a front and back view of what the Gundam is going to look like. Just painted up, very simple. Doesn't really have any sort of handheld weapons or anything, just has the two weapons there. So that's going to be pretty simple. Over here some information about that, information about the story, and then the list price for this was 1,400 yen, so pretty standard. Nothing really too surprising about that price. That seems right about right. So we've got some white parts, got some bright green for our beam saber effect parts in this case, so that's pretty cool. I like that. And then that armor color, of course, it does also seem really familiar. I feel like I've built something not too long ago in a very similar color to that. I guess the Leopard Da Vinci kit from Build Divers out a couple years ago was also in a similar kind of color of green, also similar kind of theme suit. But anyway, here for the manual, we've just got a nice picture there of the box art, and then over down here, information about the mobile suits. There, just about the V2 Gundam. Down here about Hiroto, information about that, and then information about Maggie, just a different diver apparently. So you got that. Illustration of the Gundam is looking pretty cool over here. On the back side, customized plan here where we can see about the Core Gundam and about the V2 armor there. So everything's all in Japanese and English. And again, just kind of the same stuff we saw on the outside of the box, just with more detailed information about that. Down here then our color guide as well, and then scan it to watch the anime. There's a QR code there for the YouTube link. If we open this up to the parts list, let's check this out. You can see we're going to be using everything except for a couple of polycaps, and that is pretty much it. So that's going to be good. And then it's just all construction. You construct the Core Gundam first and then the V2 unit separately. So that's how I'll show it in the review, and then we'll combine them as according to the manual here. We'll combine them into the V2 Gundam there, and then just basically the only handheld weapons that it's got is just the beam sabers, so it's going to be relatively simple. But yeah, I'm really thinking I'm going to maybe check out this weapon option set as well, so I'll look into that. In the meantime, as always guys, big thank you to SA Gundam Store for their support in sponsoring this review. You can check out this kit and everything else there on their site. The link is down below. There's also the coupon code there, ZakuAurelius10, you can use to save 10% off everything unlimitedly. You can use it as many times as you want on everything there on their site, so utilize that to get yourself some cool stuff. Alright, so anyway, here is the foil sticker sheet for this. Once again, very minimal, just for the eyes and then a few cameras, and that is pretty much it, so that's always looking good. The very familiar PC002 Polycap runner here, but in this time it's in a light bluish gray color, so a little bit different color than we usually see for this. And then SB9 for our Beam Saber effect parts, once again in this very bright, cool, fluorescent, clear green. Looks really nice. Alright, then we've got the A runner here in 4 colors. We've got one clear green part over here for that kind of V section part there on the front of the chest. Then some light lavender down here for a few more parts. A little bit darker purple color up there at the top, and then that kind of main green color all throughout the center for a bunch of the armor. This runner, once again, marked just for the planet system, so this will be the same as what we got with the Earth 3 Gundam, actually. The addition in this case just being this little bit down here at the bottom for the sensor on the top of the head. And then runner B1 here in white, just a bunch of the parts there, mostly for the Core Gundam. And we've got runner B2 as well, which would be kind of a different section of this runner. Something like down there like that, which is going to have some of the new parts here specifically for the V2 Gundam. Runner C containing a bunch of parts for the Core Gundam, as well as some different frame, joint parts, things like that, weapons parts on here. So we will have the small beam rifle there for the Core Gundam, as well as the shield for that, it looks like. And so this is in that same kind of light bluish gray color like we saw with the polycaps. And then runner D is in this very dark kind of purplish color here once again as well. This whole section of the runner over here is not new, that was with the Earth 3 Gundam, but these 4 parts over here on this side are new specifically for this Gundam, parts for the arms and the feet. So that's it for the Core Gundam in G3 colors and V2 Unit. I think this is the one that's going to be really cool. I did quite like the Earth 3 Gundam. Still have not watched the anime at all, but I think this one is also going to be pretty cool. Like I said, I do like the colors of this just straight out of the box, and the design is pretty cool, so I think I'm going to be pretty happy with this one. If you guys saw my review of the Earth 3 Gundam, I was very happy with that one as well, so if you haven't seen that, of course, you can go back and check that out. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching this unboxing video. I'll have the review coming out for you soon. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. As always, thank you guys. I'll see you in the review. Bye-bye.